this is the Flash Drive Enclosure mold, this is the cradle, this is the Flash Drive or the USB magnet, and the firing plug mold. Roll your clay in between 3-card stick. Lubricate your mold, and then place it on the clay. Now after we pressed it really hard, it should cut most of our clay, so we're just gonna peel it, and we're gonna flip it. Okay, now when I flipped my mold, I'm placing 2 decks of cards to have a balance, and I'm gonna roll my clay over my mold. Now gently we're going to peel the Teflon, and we're going to clean the pieces that we're actually not going to use. You can slowly peel it with your fingers or use a craft knife or tissue blade. I'm going to put right now my mold in between the clay saver sheet that I can talk and explain to you. But basically this side here is where you want to decorate. This is your outside of your flash drive. So you can engrave things, you can write, you can apply texture, you can apply anything you want. This is going to be the outside. I'm going to use this delicate texture over my mold, and I'm going to simply roll it gently. Now it's time to dry, and we created especially to fit on the hot plate, but I don't recommend to leave it too long on the hot plate, only for 20 minutes, or you can leave it overnight. If you choose to put it on the hot plate, I'll show you in 20 minutes how to flick the pieces so they won't curl on you when they're going to be too dry. After short dry on the hot plate, I'm going to now attempt to remove the pieces. What I'm going to do, I'm going to flip it over. So I'm going to tap them so my dry pieces will fall out. Okay, now after they're out, what I want to do, I want to make sure that they're straight and they're flat. They're a little bit soft, so what I want to do is to straight them and put them back on the hot plate so they have a chance to dry on the other side. And if they need a little bit straightening, just gently press with your fingers and place on the hot plate.
Okay, our pieces are out. They're leather dry. They're still flexible but dry to the touch. I wanted to take over here and kind of go over some of the aspects of why we designed it this way. You see that there's lots of dimples. Those are to save clay, pure and simple. What's not obvious here on the video probably is each one of these pieces have a letter to it. If you match those letters during assembly, you never have to worry about what goes where or what's going on in the textures. Aside from that, also the mold has created several 45-degree and straight angles on here. Once again, you don't really have to worry about where those angles are if you follow the letters and assemble them accordingly. Okay, we're going to assemble our first piece. This has an A on the corner. Probably can't see it, but you'll be able to see it in real life. And this one has an A on the corner. Okay, and essentially you're going to use your cradle to kind of match them up, make sure that they line up nicely. And then we're going to simply just glue the two pieces together. Using some recycled silver dust from the clay, we're going to put this along the edge. And you could put extra on here. It's better to kind of just let it extrude out and clean it up after than to be too sparing. place it in here, put the two pieces together, and you squeeze. You've got a bar up here that basically guarantees you a straight side on that side, and the angles in here guarantee you the straight angle there. So if you look at the piece here, you want to make sure that the miter corners match, and there's a hole on this side, and they should also match. So now we have our first two pieces. They're fairly dry. You have an E here and an E here, and that's your indicator to essentially assemble it this way. Okay, and we're going to use the cradle again for that. And you choose your two sides that you're going to glue with, and make sure everything is matching. After it's dried, you want to go over your box and just clean out any little excess on the edges. And you want to check your seams and fill in, if necessary, anywhere that might have a little bit of a gap. For the most part, it should already be pretty close. Okay, so now we're going to cap our box. That's G. And it should fit pretty perfect. You go like this and you push down a little bit, let it set into the angles. So after assembly, we should end up with two pretty perfect boxes, and it's now just sanding and touch-ups.
Hi, I'm back, and our pieces are ready to be fired. We created these firing plugs with these molds, and what they do is they control shrinkage when we fire them. Although they look the same, they are different, and we mark them for you A and B. Okay, the B goes in the bigger piece. We simply insert it, and the A goes in the smaller piece. Also, just insert, and when you fire it, make sure they're centered. And fire at your desired temperature. We fire it at 1650 for about 2 hours. Okay, now when our piece is finished and polished, we would like to install the USB drive into the piece. So what we're going to do is attach the magnet and center it to the top. Then we're going to apply a drop of glue in here, and we insert it to the smallest piece. We wait till the glue is dry. Then we'll take our piece again and glue all the 4 edges around and install it to the other side. You wait till your glue is dry, and then you can pull the sides apart.